Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode. So the end is near, or so it seems. The end of what, you might say? Well, the end of aviation as I've known it over the last 30 or 40 years. What I mean is, no more airplane tinkering. Thinking about going low and slow in this? Nope, not gonna happen. Let's not even begin to talk about owning a twin. Or maybe you're thinking about buying one of these. Ain't gonna happen either. And no more walking over to a friend's hangar and having a nice look at his airplane and see what's going on his specific project.
Get out of the hangar!
Like I said, no more of that. Or maybe getting yourself one of these babies and find every short field you can and put lots of weight in the plane and land in a beautiful spot and then go camping. Nope, ain't gonna happen. We're gonna play a little game right after we roll the credits, so roll it. So let's play a little game, kind of like The Price is Right. Let's take these three airplanes over here and match them up to one of these four prices down below. I'll give you a few seconds. You ready? So if you guess the following as shown here, you'd be absolutely wrong. Would it surprise you if I told you that the most expensive airplane here is the Kit Fox? That's right. The Kit Fox was listed for $180,000 US, followed by a jet, the Sonex jet, at $175,000, and the Decathlon at $75,000. Right about now, you should be saying to yourself, so what, Tony? What's it your business how much someone sells an airplane for? You're absolutely right. If you can get $200,000 for your airplane because you believe the value is $200,000 and someone decides that they want to buy that airplane for $200,000, then that's a perfect match. Everything is great. Everything is fine. This ticks me off just a little bit, and I'll tell you why. I was at Oshkosh, of course, a few months back, talking to a fellow who buys and sells airplanes. And I happened to mention to him, someone offered me $140,000. I didn't accept it. Not because it wasn't a good price, but I just wasn't interested in selling. I'm having too much fun with the plane. And he said, for the Lancer, $140,000? Never. And, that ticked me off because one, I look really good in front of this plane. And, that's a selling point in itself. And I'm pretty sure I would have thrown in the Yeti cup with it as well. There's $140,000 value. In either case, he says it wasn't worth $140,000, and I'm seeing airplanes now selling for $180,000, $190,000, $200,000 that just don't match up to what I think is a better value. And yes, my opinion, but still a better value. It's important to understand, if you haven't already noticed, that this isn't just happening in the used airplane market or new airplane market. It's also happening at the raw materials level. For instance, as you can see in this chart, from 2012 to 2020, the price of aluminum was pretty much stable. But then when COVID hit, from 2020 to 2022, the price of materials actually doubled. This has to do with banking and the price of the dollar and flooding the market with too much money, blah, 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 banking stuff. Not smart enough to know all these things. But what I am smart enough to know is that this is affecting everyone in aviation, especially the manufacturers of airplanes. Take Van's Aircraft this very week had said that they're starting to have financial problems and they've got to figure out what to do. And one of the factors that led to this problem was the rising costs in raw materials and not adjusting their resale price accordingly. So what are we as individuals who've had the dreams of owning and flying our own airplane supposed to do? Well, we may have to start looking at things a little differently than we have in the last couple of years. Possibly bring back the idea of shared ownership if you've put it aside and said, nah, it's not for me. You may want to ask yourself if you need that $180,000 airplane that flies at 100 miles an hour, or you can settle for a manufactured airplane that costs you $50,000 that goes 110 miles per hour. You may also want to reevaluate as to whether all that patch flying you're doing in the Bonanza that costs you $150,000, $180,000, $200,000 is really necessary. Maybe go down to an ultralight. In other words, purchase the plane that fits the mission. To keep yourself flying, it may be something you want to look at. So these are just a few things that I want to start looking at in future videos on my channel. So I'm going to go out there and look at one airplane, compare it to another airplane, and see where we can save money and hopefully help some folks out there that are too lazy to look this stuff up themselves. However, the primary thing that's important is that we have to start opening our eyes and looking out for things and actually looking for that deal again. I'm going to give you an example. On my Lancer, I built an automated fuel transfer system to go from the wings to the header tank. For those of you who follow the channel, I've got a video on how I built this all up. But essentially, I've got 3 sensors that sit in the header tank and manage that whole process. One of the sensors started to give me problems on the way to Oshkosh, and I've decided to replace it. So I went to the big supply house that a lot of us use and looked for the sensor, and it's there. $70 Canadian, of course. And I thought that was a little pricey because I remember paying about $10 or $12 or $13, maybe $15 for these things a few years back. So I decided to not accept that price as final price and went hunting for it and found the exact same part, 100% identical, at a local place called Granger, which is I think all over the United States and Canada possibly. I paid $20 for that same part. So obviously I bought 3 and I'm going to replace all 3 instead of waiting for them to fail. The point of the story is you got to start hunting around for the deal. All right, everyone, it's time to bring this video to a close. And as you can see, I brought along the guitar for this one because I'm going to take us out in song, a wonderful rendition of Kumbaya. But first, I want to ask you to not be shy and put some comments below. If you've got some ideas on ways to save money or things to look for or things that you found of interest that you want to share with the rest of the community, I'll give you kudos on this site. It's no big deal. And, just to share information amongst all of us, or all the followers at least that follow me. If you have a friend or an enemy that you want to make suffer, refer them to my site. And we'll catch you on the next one. Now, I was shitting you about the song. I ain't going to play no Kumbaya. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Thank you.